Before we begin today's story, take a moment to subscribe if you enjoy emotionally driven stories that linger with you long after the video ends. These are the kinds of stories that aren't loud or rushed, but quietly settle into your heart. And if you stay until the end, you might find yourself thinking about this one longer than you expect. Jessica Harper stood by the kitchen window, her hands wrapped around a warm mug of tea, watching her son Ethan carefully arrange blueprints across his desk in the living room. At 28, Ethan was a man of quiet strength, the kind who never needed to raise his voice to make his presence known. His calm confidence seemed to smooth over life's challenges with quiet patience. Yet Jessica often noticed the faint lines of worry that appeared on his face when he thought no one was watching. She felt proud of everything he had accomplished. He had built his architecture firm from the ground up, turning complicated ideas into successful projects through determination and intelligence. But what impressed her most wasn't his success, it was his kindness. Ethan noticed things others missed. He opened doors for strangers, stayed late to help coworkers, and remembered birthdays without reminders. His generosity was never loud or attention-seeking. It lived in small, thoughtful moments. Still, Jessica sensed something missing. Despite his achievements, a quiet loneliness lingered within him. He had dated before, but no relationship had lasted long enough for someone to truly understand him. Sometimes she wondered if he had been hurt, or if his heart simply waited for a love deep enough to match his own. That evening, as she sipped her tea, pride mixed with a gentle ache. She wanted someone to see the extraordinary man her son had become. Someone who would stand beside him through life's uncertainties and love him not for his success, but for his compassionate heart. Lost in thought, the sudden ring of the doorbell broke the silence. Jessica frowned slightly. They weren't expecting anyone. Ethan walked to the door and opened it, and froze. Standing there was Lily Bennett, his childhood friend who had moved away years ago. For a moment, time seemed to pause. Lily's familiar smile carried the same warmth he remembered, though maturity had softened her features. She had always been the kind of person whose presence brightened a room, and seeing her again stirred memories neither of them had expected to revisit. Their greeting was slightly awkward but sincere, filled with laughter that quickly dissolved the years of distance between them. Jessica watched quietly from the kitchen, noticing how Ethan's posture changed. His usual reserve faded, replaced by an ease she hadn't seen in a long time. The tension in his shoulders softened as he smiled, a genuine, effortless smile. As they sat together in the living room with cups of tea, conversation began to flow naturally. They shared stories of the years apart, recalling childhood adventures while discovering who each had become as adults. Ethan found himself laughing more than he had in weeks. Memories blended with something new, a quiet, unexpected attraction that caught him off guard. Jessica observed the scene silently, hope slowly rising in her heart. The loneliness she had worried about seemed to fade with every shared story and gentle laugh. The evening moved slowly, yet it carried a quiet significance neither Ethan nor Lily fully understood. They were reconnecting in a way that felt deeper than friendship, something patient and unspoken awakening between them. When Lily finally stood to leave, Ethan felt an unfamiliar mix of joy and longing. His heart beat faster, reluctant to let the moment end. Jessica noticed the spark in his eyes. Without saying a word, she sensed that this meeting was the beginning of something important. That night, Ethan lay awake staring at the ceiling, replaying Lily's laughter and the warmth in her gaze. Was it only nostalgia? Or the beginning of something real? Opening his heart again felt both exciting and terrifying. Meanwhile, Jessica sat quietly by the window, allowing herself a small smile. For the first time in a long while, she felt hopeful, as if love had finally found its way to their doorstep. Outside, the night deepened. The house fell silent except for the ticking clock and the distant hum of the city. Nothing was certain yet, but something gentle and promising had quietly begun. The days following Lily's unexpected visit passed differently for Ethan. Nothing in his routine had changed, yet everything felt subtly altered. Her laughter lingered in his thoughts like a melody he couldn't forget. Ordinary moments carried new meaning, and more than once he caught himself glancing at his phone, half expecting a message from her. He replayed their conversations in his mind. The way her eyes sparkled when she spoke about the places she had traveled, the experiences that had shaped her, and the quiet confidence she now carried. For the first time in years, Ethan became aware of a longing he had kept carefully buried. It wasn't just for companionship, but for someone who truly understood him. One weekend afternoon, fate seemed to intervene. While stopping at a small local cafe for coffee, Ethan heard a familiar voice behind him. When he turned, he found Lily standing near the counter, smiling in surprise. For a brief moment, both of them laughed at the coincidence. The years apart seemed to disappear instantly. They ordered coffee and sat by the window, sunlight spilling softly across the table. Conversation came easily, moving from simple daily stories to deeper reflections about dreams, fears, and the uncertain paths their lives had taken. Ethan noticed how attentively Lily listened. She didn't interrupt or rush to respond. Instead, she absorbed every word with genuine curiosity, making him feel seen in a way he hadn't experienced before. It was both comforting and unsettling. The strange feeling of being understood without needing to explain himself. After finishing their coffee, they decided to walk through the nearby park. Leaves rustled beneath their footsteps as a gentle breeze moved through the trees. The world around them felt slower, quieter, as if giving space for something delicate to grow. They spoke about childhood memories, forgotten jokes, shared secrets, small moments that once felt insignificant, but now carried unexpected meaning. Ethan realized he was looking forward to every second beside her. At times, he caught himself imagining what it might feel like to hold her hand. The thought both excited and frightened him. He had learned to protect his heart carefully, and rushing emotions had never been his way. Some feelings he believed needed patience. Lily sensed the change too. She noticed Ethan's steadiness, the way he chose his words thoughtfully, the kindness in small gestures, and the quiet respect he showed in every conversation. Around him, she felt unusually calm, as though she didn't need to pretend or impress. Her laughter came easier. Her smiles lasted longer. And without realizing it, she began to look forward to seeing him again. Their meetings became more frequent. Long conversations stretching into late afternoons, filled with gentle humor and comfortable silence. Each moment felt effortless, as though their connection had simply been waiting for the right time to return. Yet neither of them spoke openly about the growing feelings between them. There was a delicate hesitation, a quiet fear of changing something already beautiful. One evening, dark clouds gathered as they walked through the city streets together. Rain began to fall unexpectedly, and Ethan opened his umbrella, holding it carefully above them both. They walked close together, the soft rhythm of rain surrounding them. Streetlights reflected on the wet pavement, turning the ordinary night into something almost magical. Their conversation slowed, replaced by comfortable silence. For Ethan, the closeness felt overwhelming in the gentlest way. He became aware of every small detail, the warmth of her presence, the softness of her voice, the feeling that this moment mattered more than he could explain. He realized then that his heart was no longer guarded. Without noticing when it happened, he had begun to fall for her. And though neither spoke the words aloud, both sensed that their story was quietly changing, moving beyond friendship towards something deeper, something fragile and real. The rain continued to fall as they walked on, unaware that this simple evening would become a memory neither of them would ever forget. Because sometimes love doesn't arrive with grand declarations. Sometimes it grows slowly, in shared conversations, gentle laughter, and silent moments beneath a single umbrella. And for Ethan and Lily, something beautiful was beginning to take shape.